the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
Whether you're in automotive, sporting goods, hardware, health, wellness, electrical, electronics, construction, carpet cleaning, legal, or animal care, and offer exceptional customer service and provide quality services or goods, you're honest, reliable, and professional. If you have a business, we have the customers. Let us put you in touch with our loyal, supportive, and dedicated listeners today. They're waiting to hear from you. It's inexpensive. It's effective. Call KHNC at 1-800-205-6245. With the summer months upon us, let's all keep an extra special eye out for our senior citizens. Check on them on a regular basis, especially when the weather is hot. Make sure they have what they need. Someday we'll all be in that position. Wouldn't you like to have someone watch out for you? That's from Brush Housing Authority, reminding listeners, for housing programs, call 970-845-5046. That's 970-845-5046. That's Brush Housing Authority on the air, wishing everyone a great summer season.
Muslims thrash a Christian for drinking water on Ramadan. Another man is sentenced to 6 years in prison for converting from Islam to Christianity. A vision of the future, the sobering reality of what life is like in Reno, Nevada. And the question is being asked, was Barack Obama married before he married Michelle? And was he married to a man? My name is Howard Riell, and this is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and on YouTube and on Real TV and in the book Real Truth, Stay Angry. And, of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number, 877-254-7524, item from FrontPageMag.com. According to Coptic websites, on July 27th, a diabetic man in Egypt was driving his car in Ma'adi, a suburb of southern Cairo, when he was struck with great thirst, which he could not bear, a side effect of diabetes, further exacerbated by Egypt's July weather. He pulled over by a public water source and started to drink water. Soon, 3 passers-by approached him, inquiring why he was drinking water, one of the things that's forbidden for Muslims to do during daylight in Ramadan. The diabetic man replied, "Because I am a Christian and sick," to which they exclaimed, "You're a Christian too?" and began beating and striking him on the face mercilessly. Other passers-by began to congregate to see what was going on, but no one intervened on behalf of the diabetic Christian until he managed to dash to his parked car and flee the scene, unquote. My friends, let me tell you what is absolutely unique. Muslims in Egypt that brought about an instance like this. Let me tell you what sets them apart from all other Muslims, including those who live here in America. You ready? Here it is. Nothing whatsoever. Item from the Jerusalem Post, Dateline, Berlin, Germany. Iran's Court of Appeals upheld last week a 6-year prison term imposed on Farshid Fatih for practicing Christianity. Iran's mullah establishment has ramped up its incarceration of Christian pastors and activists. The Farsi Christian News Network, FCNN, cited on its website Friday a report from the Tehran-based Persian-language Haran news agency that Christian activist and house church organizer Fatih was sentenced to a 6-year prison term based on charges of, quote, acting against national security through membership of the Christian organization Elam, collection of funds and propaganda against the Islamic regime by helping spread Christianity in the country, unquote. According to FCNN, Fatih converted to Christianity and was one of a high number of Christian activists arrested by the security agencies of the Islamic Republic during Christmas 2010. Stop. 2 things, my friends. First of all, what makes Muslims in Iran different from Muslims everywhere else, and thus able to persecute Christians? Here's the answer. Nothing. If you can hear my voice, and if you are a Christian, you may indeed one day be persecuted by a Muslim. Now, if you are a Muslim listening to my voice, and you decide that you wish to convert to Christianity, guess what? Guess what the good news is? You then have a death sentence on your head. Because according to the Quran, if one converts out of Islam, he needs to be killed. And so the second point is this. If you're listening to me and you're Christian, and if you hear about what goes on in Israel, and what goes on in the Middle East, and what's going on with the Palestinians, you're liable to think to yourself, oh, those Muslims and Jews, they don't like each other, and you would be totally wrong. This is not a Muslim-Jewish issue. It is a Muslim planet Earth issue. If you are not Muslim, you are on their enemies list. If you are not Muslim, you are on their hit list. If you are a Jew or a Christian, makes no difference. You are on their list. And so as the number of mosques across the United States grows, and as the mosques themselves grow bigger and bigger into what they call mega mosques, which I reported on yesterday, and we watch this phenomenon happening, and we know the Muslim penchant for persecuting Christians and Jews, forget it. Go watch TV instead. That's more important. Item from the New York Times. President Francois Hollande is vowing to oppose a 75% tax on the portion of anyone's income above €1 million a year. Stop. You heard me right, my friends. 75% tax on income in France. 75%. You know, here's one of the things I love so much about Europe. If they try something and it doesn't work, they keep trying it for decades. It's clear that the welfare state, the high taxes, the ridiculous spending, it's clear that they are a disaster. They are a recipe for economic collapse. And so France and the rest of Europe is continuing to do it, only on steroids now. If you think, I'm speaking to a government, if you think that a 75% tax will make things better, then by all means, institute a 90% tax, maybe a 95% tax. If higher taxes will solve the problems, tax us until our ears bleed. Only a fool thinks that will work. Only a fool. Item from the Chicago Tribune. An upcoming book about Rod Blagojevich says undercover recordings caught the former governor saying he'd heard convicted influence peddler Tony Resco secretly channeled $25,000 in cash to Barack Obama, but federal authorities did not deem the claim credible. The book, Golden, How Rod Blagojevich talked himself out of the governor's office and into prison, suggests Blagojevich was talking about an undisclosed payment to help Obama with his 2004 campaign in the U.S. Senate. The book says federal investigators pursued the claim but ultimately gave it little credence. Never was Blagojevich seen as a credible threat to the incoming president, says the book, on an outside project by two Chicago Tribune reporters. The White House referred questions about the matter to the Obama campaign. Ben LaBolt, a campaign spokesman, said the claim is, quote, preposterous and it's false. No such payment was ever offered or made, and there never has been any suggestion or question of it from anyone except apparently Rod Blagojevich, unquote. My friends, if that word comes from the Obama administration, from the Obama campaign, certainly you can believe it. I mean, we've never found Obama to be a man who lies, have we? Have we?
Just a good old boy.
Hi, I'm Eric Cedarstrup. For over a decade, I've been the CEO, shipping clerk, and janitor of the Patriot Trading Group. And in that time, I've made friends with tens of thousands of like-minded individuals all over this country, most like me, trying to raise a family, run a business, and make sense out of a world gone mad. I'm proud of the fact that through stock bubbles, housing bubbles, and financial chaos, our customers are prospering and doing very well. By keeping our prices fair and our service fast, we find that 80% of our customers not only reorder, but they tell their friends. Don't be fooled by hype and high pressure. Do business with a company you can trust. Call the Patriot Trading Group at 1-800-951-0592 or check out our website at allamericangold.com. You'll be treated with honesty and respect. You have my word on it. I'm Eric Cedarstrom, CEO, Shipping Clerk, and Janitor.
Taking your way, the only way they know how.
Looking for the perfect answer to your nutrition and health needs? Look no further. BioSuperfood, developed to heal the peoples, animals, and land after the Chernobyl disaster, has the most complete, powerful nutritional analysis for health and wellness. Easy to digest, BioSuperfood contains complete proteins, amino acids, and vitamins A, B complex, B12, C, E, D, and K. It contains minerals and trace elements like calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, iodine, manganese, zinc, selenium, silicon, and it provides essential fatty acids, omega-3, 6, and 9. It's high in gamma-linoleic acid and has thousands of active enzymes and phytonutrients like chlorophyll, spirulina, and carotenes. Beta-carotene, alpha-carotene, astaxanthin, lutein, lycopene, quercetin, and much more. Save your money, save your time. Compare, and you'll find that there is no more researched or superior product available on the market today. Call now and get your discount prices on your next BioSuperfood at 303-257-7576, 303-257-7576, or BioSuperfood@hotmail.com.
Folks, welcome back to Real Truth. As a journalist for more than 30 years, I can tell you the credibility for a journalist is everything. There aren't a whole hell of a lot of journalists who have more credibility than Jerome Corsi, who writes for WorldNet Daily. He's been a guest on this show a couple of times. He's got a very, very strange report, and I'm going to play the video. You'll find it on YouTube. The headline, "Was Obama married before he was married?" That's one question people are asking. Another question, if he was indeed married before he married Michelle, was he married to a man? Here's Jerome Corsi.
This is Jerry Corsi with a special report for the members of 1776nation.com. I want to talk about a couple of the stranger articles I've written for WND.com recently. They raised the question whether or not Barack Obama is gay or bisexual. Now, this is something I've accumulated a great deal of evidence on. We're going to be able to present much more of it in September. The evidence, I think, is very strong. The question is not to condemn Obama here for being bisexual or gay, if that's exactly what he is, but to wonder why he's gone to the extent of hiding it, especially when he so strongly now is supporting same-sex marriage. What's the duplicity? What's the hypocrisy? And, okay, what's the evidence? Now, this video is going to be dedicated to the question, was Obama married before he was married? I've written a series of articles showing that, surprisingly, in a bunch of pictures that everyone's seen of Obama when he was in college, beginning about 1971, through his Harvard law years, which are the early 1990s, just before he got engaged to Michelle, wearing a wedding ring. Now, we've all seen these pictures, and in fact, I'm not sure you'll be able to see them real clearly, but I want to scroll through the articles. You'll know the pictures. This is the one of Obama in Central Park with the grandparents when he was supposedly attending Columbia. It's been highly criticized because the grandfather's hand looks like it's floating there over Obama's shoulders. Everybody says this is a fake picture, Photoshop. But what people have not noticed, in fact, it was a surprise to me when one of the readers pointed it out. I got tipped onto this by a reader comment that Obama's wearing a wedding ring on the wedding ring finger of his left hand. I started looking at some other pictures. These are the pictures that Lisa Jack took of Obama at Occidental in the 70s, early 71, 72, and again, he's got a wedding ring on. It's amazing. I mean, he's not married as far as we know, unless, of course, this is a love affair with his Pakistani male roommate. I mean, what's the ring for? The majority of the readers after these articles have said, come on, Dr. Corsi, get with it. This is a homosexual symbol for women to stay away because he's married, same-sex marriage to his roommate boyfriend. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think we need an explanation for why why this wedding ring has been worn. Here is Harvard. You can see by the Gantt T-shirt. Gantt was running. He's the mayor of Charlotte, North Carolina. He was running against Jesse Helms, Senator Jesse Helms, in 1990 for the Senate. Gantt lost, of course. And then the second article, what I found was really even more remarkable. The Harvard Law Review did a spoof on Obama, and they produced a whole issue, the parody issue. They do a satire issue on the Law Review every year. And here they did a Doers ad. This, of course, with D-O-E-R', not the Doers for the Scotch, but a play on the name. And again, under the latest accomplishments, it reads, I actually got a blow up of that so people could see it very clearly, saying, the latest accomplishments, deflecting persistent questioning about the ring on his left hand. So it's even being raised by the Harvard students. I mean, if you think it was only when he was at school, here's a picture supposedly in the 80s of when he was, something 86, 87, when he was supposedly in Kenya for the first time with his grandmother, Sarah, who, by the way, continues to say he was born in Kenya. And again, there's the wedding ring on his hand. That's a Punahou ring. The Punahou ring where he went to high school looks nothing like the simple band that he was wearing all through these 20 years. And the question is, why? Evidently, Obama's never explained it. He's never given any discussion of it. It's like many of the factors of Obama's life. There's hidden aspects to it, lies, mysteries, disinformation. And increasingly, I'm trying to point out to people Obama's life reads like a classic intelligence agency disinformation operation. In other words, there's some truth mixed in with a lot of fiction. And if his autobiography, Dreams, we now know is fiction, composite characters. I said this when I wrote it, The Abomination, in 2008. In fact, I think most of the things I first disclosed about Obama in 2008, as far leftist leanings, Frank Marshall Davis, the communist, African-American poet and newspaper, a reporter who retired in Hawaii, writer of pornographic novels, taker of pornographic pictures, who was the mentor for Obama, admitted and acknowledged, but only by first name and the Dreams for My Father. So here we concentrate on this ring. And again, I mean, it was a persistent set of questions. Obama's never explained it. What's the deal of wearing a ring? It's clearly a gold band ring. It's on his wedding ring finger. And for anybody who's got any doubt about it, just take a look at the WND articles. I published them, let's see, we just take a look at, the last one was published on, get the date here exactly, on July 23rd, 2012. And the first one was published just a couple days before. The Harvard Law Review parody issue confirming that it's not just something we're noticing that wasn't there. It was persistently an issue through the 20 years when Obama was wearing this wedding ring. His Pakistani roommate, whom he also went to Pakistan with, from Occidental, seems to have been, I mean, take a look at the pictures of he and his roommate together. Obama in all these roommate pictures seems to be sitting about on the guy's lap. I mean, I've not seen a lot of roommate pictures where two guys are that chummy. And the issue is, again, not an issue that we want to raise in terms of criticizing the homosexuality or the bisexuality or whatever Obama's true inclinations are. The issue is, why does he have to lie about this too? And why is Obama, if he wants to go out and proclaim same-sex marriage, if he wants to proclaim that all this is great, is it great for everybody except he has to lie about himself? I mean, you know, that I think is the hypocrisy that is at the heart, the lying, the deception. This will be a part of the questions of who is this guy? I mean, why does Barry Soetoro here have a wedding ring on for 20 years before he was married to Michelle, when he was supposedly single? Or was he married before he was married? Was he married to a guy? I mean, what's the deal? And again, I think these are legitimate questions that people here 4 years into the Obama presidency are still being faced with, David Axelrod's spin machine saying that Romney needs to release his tax returns when we don't even know what this guy's legitimate legal name is. Are there adoption papers? What about the school records? He told his publicist he was born in Kenya. He said that for 16 years in the publicist's information for his books. So was he born in Kenya like his publicist said, or was he born in Hawaii? Sheriff Arpaio's whole case posse says that birth certificate released by the White House on April 27th, 2011 is an obvious computer-generated forgery. The truth is we don't know the truth about Obama. And the wedding ring mystery needs to be added into the chapter. As I say, there's going to be much more coming out on this. As I've published in WND, Larry Sinclair is now charges that he was a homosexual partner with Obama in at least 2 incidents. Larry Sinclair's defamation case has now been dismissed, defamation case against Larry Sinclair, by the federal district courts. And I'm going to be having much more looking into these questions because, again, it's a question of truthfulness and hypocrisy. That's the issue here. It's the only issue here. What's the truth about Obama? And what's the truth here about this mystery of the wedding ring? This is Jerry Corsi reporting for 1776 Nation. Thank you all.
Mr. Obama, what are you hiding? Well, there are a lot of things that Mr. Obama is apparently hiding. One of them is his record. When you listen to the campaign rhetoric, he's not talking about any of his accomplishments as president. And with good reason. He has had no accomplishments as president. Certainly no accomplishments that he wants to brag about. And so he's hoping that we won't notice that he's not talking about what he's done as president. Because what he's done is hobble and cripple America as president. Was he married before Michelle? Was he married to a guy? I don't know. I do know this. There are a hell of a lot of questions swirling around Mr. Obama. You know, for someone who wants Mitt Romney to show his tax returns, and by the way, I also want Mitt Romney to show his tax returns. I think that anyone who's got the audacity to seek the most powerful position on earth owes us transparency. That's my personal view. So I'd like to see Romney put his tax returns out there, too. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Obama, you want Romney to fess up and answer all the questions. Well, when are you going to do that? From the birth certificate to the place of his birth to where he went to school, with whom he went to school, why he's wearing a wedding ring, was he in Kenya when he was Why would anyone vote for this guy? Why would anyone vote for him a second time? Knowing all that we know now, all the broken promises, all the deceptions, all the lies. Come on, you know, if you've been listening to this show, you know, I don't have very, very high hopes for President Romney. But I know what Romney is. I know who he is. I know where he comes from. There are a lot of unknowns about Obama, and the last place you want those kinds of unknowns is in the White House. Item from PrisonPlanet.com, Paul Joseph Watson. Armored military vehicles of the type used to hunt for insurgents in Afghanistan are set to patrol roads in Sheboygan County, Wisconsin, as part of a training exercise on behalf of the U.S. Army Reserve. Captain William Geddes said the U.S. Army Reserve wanted to alert the public to the training dates so residents are not alarmed when the pack of heavily armed military vehicles is driving around the county, reports SheboyganPress.com. The exercises are being run despite the fact that troops driving the M1117 armored security vehicles have already received their basic training. They're vehicles that these military officers might use if they're deployed. Patrol vehicles, Getty said, adding that the drills were to ensure that officers didn't get rusty in handling the M1117s. The vehicles, which have been used overseas in Afghanistan, are described as being strange, intimidating, and heavily armored, while being the same size as a large SUV. Local authorities have apparently not even been briefed about the planned exercises, which will run until August 17th. Sheboygan County Administrator Adam Payne said he had not heard about the training exercises. Two city officials declined to comment because they also had heard nothing about the training, states the report, unquote. So why a training exercise if these soldiers have already received their basic training? Easy. It's not the soldiers who are being trained. It's the residents of Sheboygan County, Wisconsin. Folks, get used to seeing military vehicles on your streets. Get used to seeing soldiers. Get used to seeing armed soldiers. Forget about posse comitatus. This is a new century and a new America. We're going to be having the military increasingly walking the streets of America. And by the way, if you look up, you'll see military drones in the sky also surveilling you. So get used to it. Don't think it's anything weird. It's just a training exercise until we get you in our crosshairs.
Have you been dreaming of new kitchen cabinets? Maybe you want to reface or repair your current ones but think it's too expensive. Are you on a budget but know you need to maximize and organize the storage space in your home, basement, or workplace? What about you gun enthusiasts who would like a customized display cabinet, or those emergency preppers who want a hidden storage unit designed for that unique space? Whether you want quality custom designed cabinets, specialty woodwork, or budget repairs, Custom Cabinet Shop can help you with whatever you need. High-end or low-end, remodel, reface, or replace. This family-owned and operated business since 1980 will help you design just about any project. Call 303-340-1390. That's 303-340-1390. Find us on Facebook for your free quote and single on-site visit. Service area is limited.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Herb.
All of God's people have a ministry, and it's a trick of our enemy to keep God's people sick and worn out to hinder their ability to minister. We are often judgmental toward people who are addicted to booze, cigarettes, and drugs, but we at the Green Herb have found that most of God's people are unknowingly addicted to the two most addictive products in America, sugar and soda pop. If you have a sickness or disease, or if you're just tired a lot, the Green Herb has an herbal product that is formulated just for you, and it's just $15.95. Come by the Green Herb, located in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, on the I-70 Frontage Road North, 1 mile west of Kipling, or call 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372, or go to our website, www.thegreenherb.com, and be sure to listen to the Green Herb Show with Linda and Dr. Cass every Tuesday at 1 o'clock on KHNC.
He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 10 through 13. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
My friends, I frequently ask the question, who would be dumb enough to vote for Obama once, let alone twice? Well, that's the question that was on the table yesterday when my colleague Sean Hannity had columnist Ann Coulter as a guest. They're going to answer that question, and then I'm going to expand on their answer. Here's Sean.
Georgetown University law student Sandra Fluck introducing the president at a campaign event earlier today. You remember she made headlines when she appeared before Congress and spoke about the astronomical cost of contraception incurred by co-eds in college and the need for insurance coverage at a Catholic university. But will the return of Sandra Fluck really score points with female voters for the president? Joining us now, we continue with Ann Coulter. You know, I find this amazing because, remember, Rush Limbaugh got on the phone, called Sandra, public tone, civility, and then takes $1 million from Bill Maher, your buddy.
Right.
Which was, by the way, given to this super PAC. At this time with Harry Reid and this new ad, what hypocrisy.
No, that's true. You can always nail the Democrats on that. I think it's probably a good sign that Obama is so desperate just to get the base Democratic voter, stupid single women, to vote for him. This is good news that he needs to lock up that part of the Democrat vote.
$3,000 for birth. We found birth control pills available for women for $9 a month.
Yeah.
Condoms are very inexpensive.
Oh, yeah. No, Daily Caller did one, I think, at Target or Walmart or something. It was like
Walmart.
$7.
$9, yeah.
No, but I mean, he is trying to get the stupid single women voters, which is the Democratic Party base. And I would just say to the stupid single women voters, your husband will not be able to pay you child support. I mean, if Obamacare goes through and Obama is reelected, you are talking about the total destruction of wealth in America. It is the end of America as we know it. There will be no innovation. There will be no growth. Great, you'll get free contraception. You won't have to pay a $10 copay, but it will be the end of America. Think about that.
Ann Coulter says the Democratic Party base is stupid single women. Well, I have to take issue with her. I see no reason to limit it to single women. Item from OccupyCorporatism.com. Informants and military personnel are coming forth anonymously to confirm that martial law, quote, is right around the corner, unquote. However, right now we're under a silent martial law, and citizens are reporting strange and unexplainable activity from the U.S. Armed Forces and multiple federal agencies that point to a covert preparatory operation to completely lock down America in the very near future. Sources from multiple locations across the nation have independently confirmed that the U.S. military are repositioning soldiers in conjunction with allied foreign troops in the initial stages of martial law. The U.S. military is secretly moving massive amounts of equipment across the country consistently for more than a year. In Phoenix, Arizona, tractor trailers transporting tanks on public highways have been spotted. One witness stated he saw these flatbeds multiple times in the month of June. Eyewitness reports are coming primarily from the northern and southern border states, unquote. My friends, you don't need tanks to have a police state. We have them just with the militarization of civilian law enforcement. Item from the Ulsterman Report. Obama whines wife should be paid for being first lady. I quote, never missing an opportunity to make the story about himself, Barack Obama reminds a group of women on the campaign trail that wife Michelle doesn't get paid for being the first lady, quote, even though it's a tough job, unquote. My friends, is being the first lady a tough job? Going to dinners, redecorating the White House, because everyone knows the White House must be redecorated with each new administration, right? No matter how many hundreds of thousands or millions of tax dollars it costs. Having lunches, making speeches, shaking hands, it's brutal work, my friends. And imagine she does it for absolutely no gain. Well, of course, she's going to make millions writing books. She's going to make millions with speaking engagements the rest of her lives. Her children are guaranteed to live like the children of royalty for the rest of their lives, but she's not getting anything from it. Item from the Rutherford Institute, Dateline Phoenix. Following unrelenting pressure from the Rutherford Institute and the general public outcry over the incarceration in Tent City Jail of a Phoenix man who's serving a 60-day jail sentence for using his private residential property to host weekly Bible studies, allegedly in violation of the city's building codes, Phoenix officials have transferred Michael Salmon to a newer indoor facility for the remainder of his sentence. Stop! What's the lesson here? The lesson is not that the government is a monstrosity. We know that. The lesson is not that the government actively opposes religion. We know that already. They're moving Michael Salmon because Americans have been screaming his name and demanding justice. Well, Michael Salmon hasn't gotten justice yet, but at least he's been moved indoors. May not sound like much. You know, who was it? There was, what was his name? Oh, whatever. Back in the 1930s, he was up. Will Rogers, there you go. Will Rogers. He once said something that's blinding in its trueness and its correctness and its wisdom. He said, a buck ain't much if you got one. A jail cell indoors ain't much unless you're in jail out of doors. Then it's much. And it's Americans screaming on behalf of Michael Salmon that are responsible for it. And so the lesson is the machine can be pushed backwards. Anger does have results. People can stand up for what's right and what's just, and victories can be won. And so if you have thought until now that the fight is over, the war is over, and we're going to be crushed by the machine, think again. Michael Salmon is still in jail for absolutely no reason, but the outcry is helping him. Hopefully, please God, the outcry will help him even more, and he'll get the hell out of jail. And hopefully we can reverse these kinds of government monstrosities that have become the norm in American life. Item from Russia Today. A group of protesters, including an 82-year-old nun, broke into the only U.S. government facility for enriching and storing weapons-grade uranium, smearing human blood on the walls of the unit where the nuclear bomb component is stored. The facility, located in Tennessee, was shut down after it failed to keep out the trespassers. The private contractor responsible for its protection, WSI Oak Ridge, is a wing of the same company that failed to provide enough staff at the London Olympic Games. Stop! My friends, take off your shoes. Take off your belts. Spread your legs, because we're going to squeeze you in places where you didn't even know you had places. Then we're going to put you through an X-ray scanner. Why? Well, it's necessary for security, except there is no security. There is no security. People routinely smuggle things onto airplanes. A group of protesters, including an 82-year-old nun, broke into a nuclear facility. They have security, don't they? Pretty piss poor, if you ask me. So why is the government screaming security? Well, I can answer that question because they think you're a simpleton. And they want control over you and me. And the only way to do that is to scare the pants off of us, tell us that we need heightened security. Well, we don't. We have all the security we need, thank you. The greatest threat we face is the government itself. And that's a truth that you can take to the bank, if you're still using your bank. We'll be back.
Herb's Meats and Specialty Foods sells hard-to-find clean meats for your family's table. Cured beef bacon, veal, turkey, and summer sausage, all pork-free. Also all available in collagen casings. That's right, collagen casings and pasture-raised, healthy, no hormones, no antibiotics beef at Herb's Meats and Specialty Foods in Broomfield. Call 303-499-8166 or stop by 1000 Depot Hill Road at the intersection of Highway 287 and 10th Avenue in Broomfield. Ask about shipping.
Author and lecturer Avi Ben Mordecai will be at the Hebrew House in Greeley, Colorado, August the 10th for a special Arab Shabbat service starting at 7 p.m. A meal will be included. Avi will also lecture on August the 11th from noon until 10 p.m. Dinner will be served from 5 until 7 p.m. We look forward to sharing this special blessing with you. All adults 18 and over are welcome. Please, no children. For more information, call 970-518-8489. That's 970-518-8489.
Have you been dreaming of new kitchen cabinets? Maybe you want to reface or repair your current ones but think it's too expensive. Are you on a budget but know you need to maximize and organize the storage space in your home, basement, or workplace? What about you gun enthusiasts who would like a customized display cabinet, or those emergency preppers who want a hidden storage unit designed for that unique space? Whether you want quality custom design cabinets, specialty woodwork, or budget repairs, Custom Cabinet Shop can help you with whatever you need. High-end or low-end, remodel, reface, or replace. This family-owned and operated business since 1980 will help you design just about any project. Call 303-340-1390. That's 303-340-1390. Find us on Facebook for your free quote and single on-site visit. Service area is limited.
Let me give you a terrifying scenario. No, I don't mean zombies lurching across the American landscape trying to bite your head. I mean something worse. A second term for Barack Obama. Dick Morris is also engaged in this thought experiment. One thing's for certain, he says. If Obama should, God forbid, get a second term, we will see totally socialized medicine in this country. Let's listen to Dick Morris.
Obama's second term, if we're dumb enough to reelect him, total socialized medicine. That's what he's going to do. Welcome to Lunch Alert. I'm going to begin a series of episodes. Yesterday I spoke about what he would do to give away our missile defense secrets, about what Obama's going to do if we reelect him in his second term. And it's pretty scary stuff. Even if the court does not throw out Obamacare, and certainly if it does, Obama's going to go to the default option, which is socialized medicine, single payer, eliminate all the insurance companies in the United States, and have everybody in the United States essentially under the Medicare program, with the government determining who gets what care, the government being the payer for all health care, funded by tax revenues, and total socialized medicine, the British and Canadian system. When he was speaking in San Francisco during the campaign, in one of his few candid moments, he said, I prefer the single-payer system, but I don't think we can get that now, so we have to do a halfway step, and that's what my Obamacare program is. And from the start, the liberals in the Democratic Party, people like Claire McCaskill from Missouri and Senator Sherrod Brown from Ohio, have been very critical of Obama for not moving to a single-payer system. They don't want any insurance companies, any insurance brokers, no choice at all for the consumer, one size fits all, centrally regimented by the federal government, with doctors' rates and incomes tightly controlled by Washington. And basically, doctors put on a starvation diet. I have a friend who came to the United States about 30 years ago, and he was an anesthesiologist in Britain. And he said he left Britain because, you know how they speak, the British, he said, I made less money than the rubbish man, the guy who collected the garbage. And that's the crisis of British medical care. It's why we have such greater survival rates from cancer and heart disease than Britain or Canada or practically any other country. Obama's going to eliminate all that, and he'll move to a single-payer system. So I believe that it is absolutely crucial that we defeat this guy, and it's very important that we understand the stakes are literally your life. If you're 75 years old and you need a heart transplant, you may not get one because maybe you're only going to live to 78 or 79, and it's not worth $250,000 of tax money to do it, and you're not allowed to pay for it yourself, and you don't have a private insurance company to pay for it. That's the world we're looking at, so let us defeat this guy. Thanks for watching.
Indeed, let us defeat this guy, and I'm speaking to the liberals out there. Liberal or conservative, the survival instinct at some point has got to kick in. Search for your inner survival instinct and know that the country you grew up in is not the country you will die in if Obama has a second term. Item from the Economic Collapse blog. What do you do when the city you live in is dying? All over the United States, formerly great cities are crumbling, but some are definitely in worse shape than others. One reader recently wrote to me about what she sees happening all around her in Reno, Nevada. The unemployment rate in Reno is now up to 11.7%, which is well above the national average of 8.3%. But that doesn't tell the whole story. The recent recession hit Nevada particularly hard, and people have been moving out of the state in waves. In fact, the labor force in Nevada has shrunk by close to 20% over the past year as workers have moved elsewhere in search of work. But even though the labor force is now nearly 20% smaller, the unemployment rate is still well above 11%. There simply are not enough jobs in large Nevada cities such as Reno and Las Vegas. Unfortunately for Reno, it does not have the same kind of big corporate money pouring into it that Las Vegas does. The good news is that you can buy a house very, very cheaply in Reno because homes are foreclosed on in droves during the housing crash. Even today, some housing developments that were put up near the end of the boom times look like virtual ghost towns. The main industry in Reno is entertainment, but many of Reno's strip clubs and gambling establishments have aged so badly at this point that they just kind of look depressing. I guess that's kind of fitting because Nevada has the 5th highest suicide rate in the nation, and Reno has been ranked as one of the top 10 depressed cities in the entire country. As the city has declined, gangs have moved in and drug trade is flourishing. Reno's been called the meth capital of America, and crime is on the rise. Despite being surrounded by tremendous natural beauty, Reno has become a very unpleasant place in which to live. But what's happening in Reno is also happening in hundreds of other communities across the United States. Our economy is collapsing and our cities are crumbling right in front of our eyes, and it's only going to get worse from here. A reader of my site named Heather, who's been unemployed since November of last year, recently shared the following with me, quote, "I'm living in Reno Sparks, Nevada, and I feel like it's ground zero for collapse. There are a lot of people who are in denial right now and cannot see the larger picture. I also keep saying we are the canary in the coal mine for the rest of the country. It's quite depressing driving around seeing empty office buildings with vacancies and retail areas just empty. Went to the stores and retail seems pretty slow also. I'm volunteering at ProNet locally, and it helps unemployed people find jobs and skills. It has been depressing there, too, with very little jobs out there for many people who need one," unquote. She said that I should share what's happening in Reno with my readers. She wanted to know what those living in Reno are going through. You might think that since Reno is so sunny, so warm, and surrounded by such natural beauty, it would be one of the happiest places in America. Unfortunately, it turns out that the opposite is true. Reno is actually a very sad place. In fact, last year, Men's Health ranked Reno as the 9th saddest city in the United States. In response to this ranking, one resident of Reno wrote the following, quote, "In light of this disheartening list-making, it is, of course, important for Nevadans to look on the bright side. Rather than allowing these statistics to depress us further, we can consider them a series of challenges that make living in places like Reno and Las Vegas all the more impressive. You don't just live in Reno, you survive Reno. To dwell in Reno, you must triumph over the odds that are stacked against you. One of the things we're supposed to do best here. If we can withstand all the emotional curveballs thrown at us because we've selected such a turbulent location in which to reside, we can probably survive anything," unquote. My friends, I hope you can, because you're going to need to.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the peoples of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network. Restore Health and Counseling salutes the men and women in uniform who've answered the call for our freedoms. Let's give them the hero's welcome they deserve as they have fought hard to restore peace. America's troops are our angels of protection, so stand up and salute them proudly. That's from Restore Health and Counseling at 4705 Paris Street, serving Northeast Denver with complete substance abuse counseling for adolescent to adult and for private as well as professional drug, alcohol screening and treatment and rehabilitation. Visit us at www.rhctherapy.com or call 303-373-1188. The Beth Messiah Congregation invites you to come and experience a Messianic Roots biblically based congregational fellowship as we observe God's Shabbat in Messiah Yeshua. Praise and worship services begin at 10:30 a.m., followed by an Oneg Shabbat meal mid-Rosh and fellowship. Beth Messiah Congregation is located at 8333 Acoma Way in North Denver. You can find out more information by calling 1-800-205-6245. Everyone's welcome, so join us this Shabbat. And Shabbat Shalom, good Sabbath.
Welcome back to Real Truth. We got 4 minutes left in the broadcast week. Item from Information Clearinghouse, written by Paul Craig Roberts and Robert Dodson, M.D. Headline: The impending collapse of American medicine. I quote, just as is every issue in the United States, Obamacare and the wider question of the state of American health care are obscured by propaganda and disinformation. In the article below, and you will find the article if you go there, Dr. Robert Dobson looks back on a lifetime of medical practice and provides facts and insights that might help us understand our situation. The U.S. medical system is the most expensive on earth without being the best and without providing full coverage. 1/6 of the American population has no medical coverage. There are two main reasons that U.S. medicine is so expensive. One is that profits are piled upon profits. In addition to wages and salaries for doctors, nurses, and medical personnel, the American healthcare system has to provide profits for private hospitals, diagnostic centers, insurance companies, and for the accountants, attorneys, and management consultants made necessary by the enormous litigation and regulatory compliance costs. American medicine is the most regulated in the world and the most criminalized. What Obamacare does is to divert Medicare and Medicaid monies to the profits of private insurance companies. Instead of providing medical care to those in need, the taxpayers' money will provide bonuses for insurance executives and profits for their shareholders. It is the height of folly for Obama worshippers to defend a law written by the private insurance companies that uses public revenues to provide insurers with 50 million more customers and to add yet another layer of profits to the cost of American medicine, unquote. Item from Reuters, Dateline Ramallah on the West Bank. The Palestinians will next month renew a bid to upgrade their status at the United Nations, their foreign minister said on Saturday, a move which could strengthen their statehood claims after talks with Israel stalled. Palestinians are listed as a UN observer entity with no voting rights. They will ask to be made a non-member observer state at the UN General Assembly on September 27th. Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki told reporters in the West Bank city of Ramallah. Such status, akin to the Vatican's, would be an indirect recognition of their claims on statehood in the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza Strip. It would allow them to join a number of UN agencies as well as the International Criminal Court. The Palestinians say Israeli settlement building on occupied West Bank land has stymied prospects for a bilateral statehood deal, unquote. What has stymied prospects for a statehood deal is the so-called Palestinians' penchant for terrorism, for lobbing bombs, for murder, for lying, for never agreeing to any agreement that's been put on the table, and certainly never keeping any agreement been a party to. What's keeping the Palestinians away from their own state is the Palestinians, and thank God, because if they were smarter, they might well have their state by now, which would be a razor blade at the throat of Israel. My friends, we are just about out of time. I have given you 2 earfuls this week. I've got 2 more earfuls next week. All the issues that I hope you're talking about, I hope you're sharing with your friends online, all the things I hope you're taking into account as America goes forward, not just to the presidential election, but forward every single day through our lives, our children's, our grandchildren's lives. The future is out there. It's waiting for us to shape it and form it and decide what direction it will go. I only know of one reliable compass. I only know of one rule of thumb that will get us through the future safely, that will keep America, America for our children. It's a three-part plan, and here it is. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay angry.